She gave her last meal to a stranger. What he did next changed her life. The evening sun sank slowly behind the worn rooftops of a crumbling neighborhood, where the streets held more dust than dreams. In a narrow alleyway lived Maya, a 28-year-old woman with tired eyes and a heart that hadn't learned how to stop giving. Her apartment was small, barely larger than a storage room, but it was hers. She had fought hard for it after losing both her parents in her early 20s. Working double shifts at a diner and sometimes skipping meals herself, she made sure to keep her dignity intact, even if her bank account barely stayed above zero. That day had been rougher than most. The diner had a gas line issue and closed early, leaving Maya with no pay for the day and no leftover staff meals to take home. Her stomach growled, but she forced herself to ignore it. In the corner of her kitchen sat a simple bowl of rice and lentils, her only food left until next payday. She warmed it slowly, almost ceremonially, as though hoping its scent would fill her more than the meal itself. Just as she was about to eat, a knock echoed from her door. Confused, because she rarely had visitors, Maya opened it cautiously. Standing there was an older man, face roughened by wind and time, his clothes dusty and worn. He looked down, ashamed, then met her eyes. "I haven't eaten in 2 days. I'm sorry to bother you. Could you spare a little food?" For a second, she hesitated. Her stomach twisted in protest. But something about his trembling hands and the way he avoided her eyes struck her deeply. She knew that kind of hunger, that kind of shame. Without a word, Maya turned around, placed her bowl of rice and lentils into another container, and handed it to him with a smile that tried to hide her emptiness. "Take it. Eat in peace," she said softly. The man was stunned. "Are you sure?" Maya nodded. "I'll be okay." He didn't even sit on her steps. He walked a few feet away, sat on the curb, and ate quietly, slowly. Every bite looked like it meant the world to him. Maya closed the door, leaned against it, and let a tear fall. That was it. No dinner, no backup, and rent was due soon. She curled up in bed, empty in stomach but somehow full in heart, whispering to herself that kindness never goes unnoticed, even if no one says thank you. The next morning, she woke up to loud knocking, not the gentle kind, urgent. She rushed to the door, hair messy, face sleepy. There stood a man in a suit, holding a clipboard. Behind him, a black SUV idled at the curb. "Are you Maya Alvey?" he asked. She nodded cautiously. The man introduced himself. He worked for a local philanthropic foundation. The stranger she had fed last night, his name was Mr. Kareem Wasif, wasn't just another homeless man. He was a once prominent businessman who had gone undercover to understand the truth of poverty for a foundation he helped fund. He had chosen to live on the streets for 2 weeks. Maya had been the only person who gave him food without being asked twice and without wanting anything in return. He had told them everything about her kindness, her selflessness, and her quiet pain. The suited man handed her an envelope. Inside was a letter, handwritten by Mr. Kareem. It thanked her not just for the food, but for restoring his faith in people. Along with it was a check, $50,000, and a job offer at the foundation to help with their outreach team, housing support included, full benefits, immediate start if she wanted it. Maya stood frozen. Her mind couldn't grasp what was happening. The tears came faster than the words. When she finally found her voice, she asked, "Why me?" The man smiled kindly. "Because you gave the last thing you had, when you didn't have to. That kind of heart doesn't go unnoticed." Weeks passed. Maya began working with the foundation, helping others who had once stood where she stood. She used the money wisely, paid off her debts, secured a safer apartment, and started a small pantry to feed her neighborhood's hungry every weekend. But more than anything, she lived with purpose. She never saw Mr. Kareem again in person, though his photo hung in the foundation's hallway. But every time she handed a meal to someone with shaking hands and hollow eyes, she thought of him, and how one bowl of rice changed the course of her life. It wasn't about money. It was about choice. A single act of kindness, given freely in the darkest hour, had created a ripple far greater than she could have imagined. And she knew in her soul it was never about how much you have, but how much you're willing to give, even when no one is watching.